This is Brett Waltemath of The Headliner and Star Watch Media reporting from South Beach, Florida for the 2011 Miami International Film Festival.
Jump out to right.
Okay. We're the best.
What were the early suggestions that you had for Aaron and JD when you first came on the project?
Have a movie. There's no movie unless the raw material of the movie is extraordinary. You know. I just saw it to see it, and then I gave them my impressions of what I felt. Which is what they were looking for, like a fresh eye and how to, for me it was about the things that really were working, how to focus the story. And really, whose story it was. That was what I suggested. I said, "Who's your protagonist? Whose story are you telling?" And kind of ask those questions to provoke the things in them that would help them kind of, sort of drive the narrative of the film. Any assembly is like everything you've shot, and then we started, working on it, and they used me as a barometer to, we gather our thoughts, we give notes. They go experiment, they come back. We began the process, the natural process. Yeah. All directors do that. I do that myself. I show it to other directors. I show it to other editors. You open up the creative process of people you trust and are filmmakers you admire, and to get impressions. It's like test audiences. How's it playing? Where is it dragging? What is confusing? Things like that. It's important to get that kind of feedback because you can get locked into a kind of a tunnel world of the avid or the whatever you're cutting on.
The fact that the cast and crew was made up primarily of young adults, were you surprised at all by the footage that you saw and the quality of the footage that you saw?
I guess surprised. I knew some of the actors that were in. I didn't know the whole cast, but I was more than surprised. I was deeply affected by the organic truth in the film. And that's what really stimulated me, that the movie was almost like a documentary,
You were raised here in Miami. How did the film touch you on a personal level?
Well, I learned things that I kind of knew a little bit about the youth, but not to the degree that it was a bit of a shock. And I said to my daughter, "Is that what was going on out there?" And she says, "Yeah." And I said, "Wow, times have changed a little bit." I mean, we all had our experiences as in youth and being in situations that you have to always make decisions on, do I go there? Do I do that? Do I try that? Do I not? Crossroads in life, But it's getting, more and more accelerated, I think, as time goes by. So it was a bit of an eye-opener, which I thought why the movie was important.
What are the plans for distribution?
Well, we're beginning now to exhibit the movie. This is the first time it's going to be seen. There might be a distributor here. There might not. We'll have screenings in Los Angeles. There'll be other festivals. It's a process of exposing the movie and finding the right, distributor for it.
What does it mean to you, the rest of the cast and the rest of the crew, to be having the world premiere here in Miami?
Well, it's a movie that was born here. It's about this experience. Everyone associated with the movie is from Miami. And it was financed partially by here. So everything is it's homegrown, and it's important. It's important for the community to know that there are filmmakers here who have a voice and something to say, and that if we want to tell our stories, whether it's this one or a period story, if you want the world to know who you are and to understand who you are, the financial community has to come out and support those young filmmakers or old filmmakers.
And speaking of, what projects do you have that we can look forward to, both behind the camera and in front of it?
Well, I did a couple movies last year that will come out this year. One's called 5 Days in August, and another called Cristiada, as an actor. And I'm in the process of financing a movie that I wrote about Hemingway, that was the last 10 years of his life in Cuba, that I co-wrote and I'm going to direct and act in with Sir Anthony Hopkins as Hemingway. So that's what I'm involved with right now.
Where do you see your career going? Do you see putting more focus into your directing career, or will acting always be a focus?
To me, it's the same thing. Sometimes there are personal stories you come up with. And there are things that you develop. I'm always developing, doing things on my own. And then if someone calls me about a part or something, then I'm always available to that if it affects me and I want to do it. But I don't you know, I always got something going on because I have stories I want to explore, and so I just I do that. I concern myself with that. I can't really concern myself with what outside of what I'm doing, you know.
Thank you so much, and much success to you in the future.